We want to build the #1 international baseball league.
Oh, what a catch! What a catch, baby!
Like I said, I feel blessed.
The pitcher grabbed by Schlitter goes for the force of the plate.
Ground ball, double play, game over. Wow!
This is a money ball, gentlemen, and this. Money ball!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Baseball United podcast, the premier voice in international baseball. I'm your host, Liam Skiffington. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. He's a 15-year MLB veteran, a seasoned coach, and current manager of the Mideast Falcons. He's also an individual with extensive experience managing and coaching overseas. He's no stranger to starting from the ground up and has a keen eye for spotting potential and fostering growth in emerging baseball markets. His dedication to the game and passion for developing baseball globally is truly inspiring. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dennis Cook to the show. Dennis, great to see you. Appreciate you taking the time. How's everything been going?
Everything's going good, Liam. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course. So, Dennis, I think it would be great to start off by just telling the audience a little bit about yourself. Like I said, 15 years in the MLB. Why don't we start with, how did you fall in love with this great game?
You know, I fell in love with baseball whenever I was a kid. I've been playing since I was 8 years old, and I really love football also. But I was a lot better at baseball, and success came quicker to me through baseball. So, you know, it's a passion of mine. It's kind of in my DNA. I've been doing it since I was 8. I love teaching the game now. I love playing the game whenever I was younger and able to play. So yeah, it's just in my blood.
At what point, Dennis, whether it was high school, college, or even before any of those, did you realize, like, okay, I can be a professional baseball player?
Oh, I don't think I ever thought that. You know, had a wonderful high school coach in Dale Westmoreland who pushed me very hard in school and gave me lots of opportunity to, he even drove us to tryouts to try to get scholarships. So, you know, I'd never really felt like I was ever had that opportunity, and went to University of Texas and got drafted. Well, I actually went to Angelina Junior College, played 2 years there, then on to the University of Texas for 2 years. And, you know, got drafted, but still, you know, you always wonder, those guys, we always put those big league guys on pedestals and, you know, wonder and doubt ourselves if we're good enough to make it. But, you know, just very blessed to able to play in the big leagues and do that for a living. And like you said, for 15 seasons, it was a wonderful ride, and I'm very thankful.
When you got drafted, Dennis, and then you made your way through the minors, when you finally got the call to the major leagues, what was that day like for you?
Oh man, I can remember it's like it was yesterday. I was at my buddy's house. It's kind of a funny story. I was coming off of a broken rib. It was on the DL in AAA, and I had a really good year. And but I broke my rib towards the end of the season, and they didn't call me up because they thought I was hurt. So I called a guy named Ralph Nelson, who was assistant GM with the Giants, and I told him, I said, Ralph, I tell you what I want to do. I want to go to instructional league for 10 days and prove to you guys that I'm healthy. So, and then if I'm healthy and I do good and you guys decide to call me up, then that would be much appreciated. So I ended up going, getting ready and throwing down here in Austin and getting myself ready for instructional league. And the day before I was going to go to Phoenix, Ralph Nelson called me and goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm about ready to go get on the airplane in the morning and go to Phoenix for instructional league, prove you guys I'm healthy." He goes, "Well, cancel that flight because you're going to be starting like on Tuesday or Thursday in San Diego." And I was fired up.
Love it. So, Dennis, when you played for 9 teams across your 15 years in MLB, is that accurate?
Yeah, 9 teams and 2 of the 9 twice.
Wow. Okay. What would you say, what was your favorite team to play for and why during that time?
I actually have 2. Probably the Rangers. We had a great group of guys in 95 and 96. We were good. We were a real tight team. And plus I was close to home, which really made a big difference for me. And then the other team was the 97 Marlins, and just simply because I got to play for Jim Leland. We had a great group of guys, and we won the World Series.
We previously had Ryan Howard on this show, and we were talking to him for a little bit about playing his entire career with the Philadelphia Phillies. That's very rare. It's also very rare to be on 9 teams across 15 years. How did you adjust, Dennis, like every other season to being on a new squad?
I was just looking for the opportunity, and it didn't really matter, who it was with. Whenever I was younger and I got traded, my feelings got hurt the first time I got traded from the Giants to the Phillies. It was Charlie Hayes, Terry Mulholland, and myself for Steve Bedrosian, and that's the year they ended up. It was '89, the year they ended up going to the World Series, and I was like, man, the Giants don't want me, but they've come to find out the Phillies really wanted me in the trade, and kind of after that, it started to become a little bit of a business. Towards the middle of my career when I was relieving, was a reliever. A lot of times I was paid decent in those times, and if the team was out of the playoff race, they would trade me to a contender. So that was always fun to go from a team that wasn't contending to a contender. So I just I really never looked at it as a negative after the first time. I was just always happy for the opportunity.
What led to the transition from being a starting pitcher to being a reliever?
I was a lot better as a reliever. It just fits my personality a lot better. Starters, we were throwing once every 5 days, and I get antsy. I'm not good at sitting around and watching and that kind of stuff. I like showing up at the ballpark every day with the opportunity to pitch and prepare myself, do my routine, ready to go every day, thinking that I got a chance to pitch, and it just suited my personality much better.
You spent the majority of your career pitching during the steroid era. What was it like for you competing against all of these guys?
It was actually pretty cool. I mean, there was some, guys hit a lot of long home runs, and the year that was with Sammy and McGuire, I mean, that was huge for baseball. Not that I condone anybody using steroids, but that was a big year for Major League Baseball. Just everyone following that. I remember going to St. Louis, and we were playing the Cardinals in St. Louis and watching BP, and how the stands would be almost full for batting practice to watch McGuire hit. So it was pretty impressive.
Did competing in the steroid era, Dennis, or against these specific players that everybody kind of knew were using steroids, did it change your approach on the mound when these guys came to bat?
No, and really and truly, I didn't even know that they were doing steroids. I mean, honestly, I just thought they were big muscle guys, strong guys. But no different approach. I'm gonna approach every hitter basically the same way. I'm just gonna get after them and with my best stuff and see what happens.
During this era, how did you maintain your performance and integrity amidst the widespread use of PEDs?
I would never do it. I mean, I'm not going to risk anything just to continue to play. I 100%. I mean, you can look at me and tell that I never did a steroid. I just competed hard, and that I thought that would be good enough.
Was there anyone, Dennis, during your career that kind of took you under their wing and kind of steered you away from that direction?
No, but I had wonderful veterans when I broke in with the Giants, and Donnie Robinson, Mike Krukow, Rick Russell, Robbie Thompson. Those group of Harry Spillman, Joel Youngblood, Chris Spire, all those old time guys that were just wonderful veterans that took good care of the young guys. They had to harass us, but at the end of the day, they were looking out for us and teaching us how to be pro ball players. So those are the guys that I look up to. But no one ever tried to steer me away from it because, like I said, I didn't even realize that was going on.
Yeah, yep. With the current state of MLB's pitching and the advancements in training and technology today, how do you think pitchers today would fare in the steroid era? I know it's kind of a difficult question, but like as 15-year big leaguer, I would love your opinion.
I think they would do good, but I don't think that their careers would be very long. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of guys playing 10 years anymore. Just, everybody's throwing max effort and they're making so much money now. God bless them for that, but they're making so much money. I don't think that the desire to play 10 years is there for a lot of them. But I think they would do good, but the period of time would be much shorter.
Mm-hmm. So, Dennis, I want to transition a little bit to your coaching career. So, 15 years in MLB, and then when was it when you became a coach?
I retired in 2002, and I was always coaching my kids, so I don't know if that counts. But I in 2004, I was a graduate assistant at University of Texas, and I coached with Augie Garrido, which was a lot of fun. Learned a lot from him. Um, And I've always loved teaching. Even when I played in the off season, I'd come back to Texas and work out at the University of Texas. And I always liked watching Coach Augustus. You know, he would coach, and then I'd like to try to talk to pitchers and, you know, bounce things back and forth with people. So I've always liked to try to teach and learn. So I would say, you know, 2004 was my first year, but it's always been something I've been interested in.
What were some of the things in 2004, your first year coaching? What were some of the things or challenges that you faced?
Um, Man, challenges, probably not being able to be as hands-on as I want to, as I wanted to, just simply because I was a graduate assistant. You know, they had full-time pitching coaches, full-time hitting coaches, but just wanted to be more hands-on and more involved. But I get it. You know, I was the new guy and it's supposed to be the guy that's just sitting back learning, but I'm not good at that. I like getting my hands in there and and getting dirty with it. So probably that.
You mentioned you coached your kids growing up. How many kids do you have?
I have 26-year-old triplets. I got two boys and a little girl.
Wow. Okay. All the same age at the same time. I guess that kind of makes it easier. You can coach them all at once, right?
Yeah, I coached my boys and my daughter whenever they were little. Coached them in everything: soccer, baseball, flag football. And then when the boys went to high school, they're sophomores in high school, I got a job up at the high school so I could help coach them there. Worked for a great guy. His name was Mike Rogers, the head coach, and I was the assistant coach. And he let me, you know, come up there and help out with my boys, which was awesome. And they went on. My one son Asher went on to junior college and on to TCU, and then my other boy went to Ole Miss and played on the club team at Ole Miss. So they continued to play into college, and it was a lot of fun following them.
Very nice. Well, being an MLB veteran, Dennis, do you feel that your kids might have felt like a little added pressure to be successful on the diamond?
Man, I don't know. I hope not. Maybe a little bit. I hope I didn't do that to them. You know, the thing I always just try to instill in them and any kid that I coach is, you know, try to get the most out of your God-given ability and be aggressive and don't be scared to fail. So those are the kind of things that I really try to push with any kid that I work with.
In 2010, you took on the role as head coach of the Swedish national team. Is that correct?
Yes.
What led to that opportunity, and why Sweden? Why international baseball?
Well, that's a good story. My mother is 100% Swedish. She was born in the U.S., but her mom and dad were 100% Swedish. So I was 42 or 44, and I was sitting at home, and I was like, man, I got an itching to go play. I got to play. You know, I've been retired for 4 years now, and so I started looking on the internet, and I saw that Sweden had a team, and they were playing in a World Baseball Classic qualifier in Stockholm. And I was like, well, I got to figure out how to get on that team. So I emailed the guy back and forth, and they were like, yeah, we'll try to help you get a passport. You have to have a passport for the country you play for. So long story short, I wasn't able to get the passport because there wasn't enough time. So they said, since you can't get a passport, would you have any interest in coming over and managing the team? And I was like, heck yeah. So let's do it. So I started managing them there, and I managed them for 3 European championships over there, in 3 European championships. And we got a lot better and had a lot of fun while we were doing it.
So you were recently also named the manager of the Polish national team a couple months ago. What led you to that opportunity, and why Poland?
Well, they had an opening. I knew a guy I've been in contact with, John Dombrowski out of Brooklyn, and just visiting with him back and forth, and you know, wanting to get over there and get another team. And I kind of like starting from scratch with them and building them up. And so John McLaren is my assistant coach over there, So
Yep.
he's with Baseball United also. So he and I are running that program over there, and we're actually heading back over to Poland on the 15th of July for a month for European Championship qualifiers with the senior national team and the U23 team.
What kind of potential do you see in this national team, Dennis?
They're behind where the Swedish guys were, but they're going to get better. They're going to get better. We're bringing a few U.S. kids with us over there, so that'll help bolster our roster. But yeah, so I think we'll be okay.
How do you, I'm curious, when you're managing a national team like that, or just a brand new team in any new region, what like what goes into your game planning and plan for development for competitive play?
Well, I think first things first, we have to get down there and qualify for this European Championships. And if we do that, I think the programs will start taking off, and then we'll be able to start focusing more on the development. Running some coaches camps and stuff like that, and doing some camps. We had a little spring training. What was it, about a month ago over there? So we got a good idea, good lay of the land of the kids we want to keep, and just trying to help them out as much as we can and see where the talent takes us.
Do these national teams hold like open tryouts or anything like that?
Oh yeah. We had tryouts over there. We brought in. We relied on the club teams to give us their top 5 players and brought them all in over there and worked them out and played some little scrimmage games and stuff like that with them. But yeah, eventually what we want to do is we want to try to do some open tryouts over here in the U.S. for some Polish national players.
Hmm. Does the talent in these European countries surprise you, Dennis?
Yeah, I worked with the Italian team, Italian national team for what was it, 4 or 5 years, and there's some good players over there. In Czech Republic, the Dutch got good players. Spain, Czech Republic, all those guys got good players. So, and the level has gone up every year. Every year I'm over there for the championships, the level just keeps getting better and better and better. It's kind of
What
fun
do
to
you
see.
think? Yeah, what do you think goes into the development of these players getting better and better? And how do you implement, I guess not you specifically, but how important is grassroots for these national teams to develop native players?
100%, because you don't want to bring a bunch of American kids over there and taking spots from them, and then the kids lose interest. So we're trying to have a little bit of a mix, and eventually it would be awesome if we could do it with just all Polish kids. But like you said, it has to start at the grassroots at the little league level, and that's where the giving coaching clinics to the coaches to teach them the fundamentals and things that you can teach the proper way. The kids are hard workers. All of them want to work hard. They just don't know how to work. So, it's our job to go over there and show them some things that can help them and simplify their game.
So, what are some of the differences you see between these prospects over there, like in Poland, Sweden, and the American prospects you work with over here?
They just hadn't played as much baseball. I mean, over there, they're playing 2 games a week, and their team practices are kind of, not organized great. Some of the kids show up. These guys work full time, so some of them got families at home, so it's hard to make practice sometimes. So they're just not playing as much as our kids over here. I mean, their passion and desire to be good is just as great as our kids over here. It's just they don't get as much opportunity as our kids over here get.
Got it. So, Dennis, you're the official manager of the Mideast Falcons, one of our franchises here at Baseball United. What motivated you to join our organization?
Oh man, what a great opportunity! I mean, I can't imagine anybody that's got any competitive bone in their body not wanting to be involved in this. I was up in the Cape Cod coaching with Chatham when this first came
Oh,
out.
nice.
Yeah, when I saw Barry Larkin had posted something, or somebody posted something on Twitter about a new league. They're trying to develop a new league, and this has probably been 3 or 4 years ago when this thing just first started coming out. And I read that, I was like, man, I got to get a hold of Barry and get involved with this. And reached out to Barry, and he's like, yeah, man, we'd love to have you. Let's get this going. And then, down the road, John called, and we just got it rolling. At first I was just going to be a pitching coach, and then John called and said, hey, man, would you be interested in managing? And I'm like, heck yeah. So, it just worked. It's worked out good. You know, it's going to work out good because there's so many great people involved with it. With Cash at the top of the list, and John and my man Eddie Diaz, just good people, Victor, and Warren and all those guys, and it's just a wonderful thing. I'm super excited to be involved with them. I think if it's got a chance, they got the right people in place to make it work.
You mentioned you were a coach with the Chatham Anglers, right?
Yeah.
How long were you? I'm from Massachusetts, so I've been to a million Cape League games. Absolutely love it. What years were you coaching with them?
Man, I don't remember the years. I think I started in 18 or 19. I was there for 4 summers.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Any success?
Yeah, I had some good pitchers. I mean, my definition of success is different than yours, maybe than yours. Mine is my pitchers got a lot better. I had Alec Manoah up there whenever he was basically a one-pitch pitcher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Cody Bradford was up there with me. Troy Miller, who's a AAA guy with the Mets. I mean, I still stay in touch with all these kids. They're, it was a lot of fun working. It's fun up there because the kids are very talented and they're hungry to learn. They want to take that next step. And I felt like I helped a few of them.
Mm-hmm. So Dennis, how do you see your role with Baseball United, and what contributions are you most excited about making moving forward?
Well, just being around for the long haul, and my role, that's dependent on what Cash and John and Eddie decide that it's going to be. I'm willing to do anything they want me to do. Like I said, I'm blessed to be a part of this organization, and I just whatever they need me to do, I'll do. And right now that's manage a team, and I'm excited about that. And you get great people working with you, and Mariano Duncan and Luis Alicea and Les Lancaster. Managing's easy when you got those guys. You just say, hey, take the infielders and go. What am I going to tell Mariano Duncan about infield play? I mean, I can't tell him nothing about that. I sit back and I watch him and Luis Alicea teach infield, and I learn from them. And then, Lester pitched in the big leagues for 10 years. And, so just take the pitchers, tell me who's ready to go, and we'll use them. So managing is the easy part, when you got those kind of guys around you.
What qualities do you believe are essential in the leadership of an emerging league like ours? And how do you see those qualities demonstrated throughout our league?
Man, I think the main thing that you have to have is a vision, and they have Cash and John and Eddie have that vision, and then just sheer guts to make it work, and they have that too. I mean, every time I'm on Twitter, I see Cash is halfway around the world and John's halfway around the world, and Cash's wife is pregnant and having a baby, and he's still working for Baseball United, and and hustling deals over there. So, that's a commitment that I think you have to have. And obviously this organization does have that.
So, Dennis, last year you managed the United East All-Stars at our inaugural All-Star Showcase. In Dubai, what was that experience like for you?
Oh, man, it was unbelievable. Just to see them transform that field into a beautiful baseball stadium. The guys, the players were excited, the excitement that was surrounding everything, the buildup that's been, for a couple of years now, talking about it. And they finally were able to make it happen. And I mean, all credit to those guys with Cash, and like I said, Cash and John and Eddie. All the credit goes to them, and I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm just thankful that they let me come along for the ride.
How long were you over in Dubai for last year?
Man, I want to say it was 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
Okay. Just a little over a week, sounds like. So Dennis, when you first heard about Baseball United, what was your initial reaction?
It's a great idea. I mean, why not? Why not there? And especially the way they're looking at it, they're as more like a winter league type thing. I mean, what player doesn't want to go to Dubai, and see that part of the world and play baseball, a competitive brand of baseball with great players over there. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? So, I'm not a businessman. I'm a baseball man, and I love to travel. So those two things are perfect for me. And I think the concept is awesome.
What were some of your key takeaways from our showcase last year?
I think the interest, the talking about all the places they broadcasted the game. I never found out how many people watched the broadcast, but I'm sure it was quite a few. And the interest it's like a blank canvas over there, and they're painting their picture how they want it, which is kind of neat. So I think coming out of there is we did what we were trying to do, and that's just introduce our wonderful game of baseball to the people over there.
Dennis, you talk about your love for this game, your passion for coaching, your passion for people. How would you say your values align with our values here at Baseball United?
I think they align. I like hustling. I like creating things. I like helping people. I love, like you said, I love the game of baseball. I want to share it. I love teaching it. That's what I feel like or actually better at is teaching the game. But I have a passion for it, like obviously everybody that's in charge of our organization does. So I think, I think our I think they align. Yes.
So the sports industry is a fast-moving environment, and it's certainly an adapt or die type of culture throughout the industry. Are you as in awe as I am, Dennis, and inspired as I've been at this organization's ability to kind of shift gears, pivot, and continue to trudge forward?
Yeah, that's why we got the right people in charge of it. They're business people who have done that, obviously very successfully in their business lives. So, when it comes to the business part of the deal, I don't want any part of it. We'll let Cash and them handle that. I mean, they're world-class businessmen, and when it comes to baseball stuff, we feel like we have that under control.
Over 3 decades in professional baseball, Dennis, what would you say separates our leadership group from the industry?
Well, I think that our guys have to create. They're building something from nothing, where Major League Baseball has been established, and they kind of they have ability to strong arm people a little bit. Where our guys, we're like you said, we're having to pivot and change here, and Major League Baseball would just say, no, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. Well, our guys are pivoting, changing, adapting, creating, all of those things that new businesses have to do. So I would say they're more established, and we're more the new kid on the block.
Looking ahead, Dennis, what is your vision for, actually, let me rephrase that question. What are some things that need to go right in order for this league to continue to grow and thrive and be successful?
I think we first and foremost we have to bring good players over. You have to have a good product. People don't want to watch something that's not a good product. So bring in the right players over there, playing hard every time you're on the field. Reaching out to the community. There are the things that we can do from the players and coaches standpoint. Clinics, coaching clinics, kid clinics. But first and foremost, it has to be a good product, or nobody's going to watch. And then just get our foot in the door and build interest that way.
What was some of the feedback you got from some of your players last year for within Baseball United during the All-Star Showcase?
They were all wanting to come back, had a great time, beautiful city, and just, all those things. Everybody is wanting to come back and stay involved. And so the feedback was all very positive.
In your opinion, how was the field compared to some of the other professional fields you've been on?
Oh, it was awesome. Those guys did a fantastic job. The dirt was good, the mound was good, and just everything was wonderful. The guys did a great job with it, and I thought it was beautiful. I liked all the cool stuff they did too on the outside. on the outside of like the baselines with the cabanas and all that stuff. That was kind of cool.
What do you think, Dennis, maybe you're an old school baseball guy, maybe you're a new school baseball guy. Which side of the fence would you say you fall on?
I'd probably say more old school.
Old school. Okay. So as an old school baseball guy, what do you think of the gameplay innovations that they implemented? It was pretty unique.
Oh, like the gold ball and all that?
Yeah, like the gold ball, the designated runner. Yeah.
Oh no, those are awesome. Those are all great things. I mean, that's where you put your own little twist on your league. And when you start from the grass or the ground up, you can do those things, and it doesn't bother me a bit. I mean, that just keeps the interest of the game. If it's a 6-run game in the ninth inning, people get up and go home unless you got a chance to hit a 6-run home run, which, with the golden ball, you have that opportunity. So there's a little bit of strategy involved with it. And then, as far as the runners and stuff go, you can get some kids in there like we did last year, the kids from Sri Lanka or Pakistan or whatever, and they can get out there and kind of get a feel for what's going on, the speed of the game. So I love it. I love the innovations.
What did you think? Well, they did a great job as it relates to these innovations, in my opinion. They did a great job with not doing too much, if that makes sense, like not ruining the outcome of the game or anything like that, or the integrity of the game, not compromising that. What would you say about that?
I agree with that 100%. It's just I think that with the gold ball, that all that does is keep the fan interest until the last out. So I thought it was good.
You talk about the prospects like that they implemented sometimes using the designated runner, sometimes they were catching in between innings. What did you think of these prospects from all around the world being able to play alongside legends like Robinson Cano, Pablo Sandoval, all these different guys?
I mean, what a great experience for those kids to be able to do that and, kind of see where they are with their skill level compared to these guys. Because sometimes it's hard to tell your skill level whenever you're around players with similar skill levels. So they learned a ton while they were there. Like I said, Mariano Duncan and Luis Alcea, they grabbed the kids and worked them out and gave them extra ground balls and taught them how to use their feet and field with rhythm and all those things that they need to learn. And so, I mean, great experience for the kids. I don't know what we're doing moving forward into this year, and then when the league starts next year. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I thought the kids from India, the pitchers from India, were good. I mean, I was impressed with those kids. So it'd be fun to keep them around, a few of them around like that, and be able to help them and develop them.
I was talking about this on a previous episode with Jair Jurgens. Seeing the look in these prospects' faces when, say, someone like Andrelton Simmons is helping show them how to play shortstop, or Robinson Cano is showing them how to hit. It's not something you could capture on camera. You had to be there. You had to be on the ground to feel. It was palpable on the field. You could feel that impact.
Yeah, 100%. And the kids are like sponges because they want to learn. And who better to learn from than those guys that played in the big leagues for 10, 15, 20 years. And on top of that, you're talking about those guys they're fantastic men, and they're wanting to give back. I mean, Mariano Duncan does not have to go to Dubai. He's over there because he wants to teach baseball and spread it. And those are the kind of people that I love to be around. They just want to give back. Listen, we're blessed to be able to play this game and coach this game and do it what we did for 11. I mean, it's a blessing, and you need to give that back. And whether that's in Dubai or Mexico or Austin, Texas, we need to give that back. So, anyways, go ahead.
That's another common thing that we talk about on this show, Dennis, is everybody in the organization, from cash all the way to the bottom, everybody in this organization is bought in. They want to give back to the game. They have a passion for growing this game. Have you ever been around an organization where everybody's in unison on something like that?
No, I haven't. And I think that's because of the people that are the head of our organization. They've kind of instilled that. Barry is an international guy Barry Larkin, who's done stuff all over the world. He's given back. He's passionate about that. And I think that when him and Cash started talking, that was one of the prerequisites that, they wanted to give back and teach and spread. And that's right in my wheelhouse. I love that stuff. And like I told you earlier, I think I'm a better teacher than I am a manager. I love teaching the game of baseball, and I love teaching pitching. So, no, I haven't been around another organization like that, but it's fantastic to be around one.
Dennis, what's some advice you could give to these young players in the Middle East and South Asia who are looking to become professional baseball players and perhaps be a part of our league in the future?
Man, I would say play and practice daily. Play catch daily. Get in the weight room. Eat as best as you can. Try to get a good nutritional setup and lift. Get strong, and just play as much as you can. I mean, that's the problem. Like over in Poland right now, the guys don't play enough. They don't practice enough. It's just hard to get it all organized and get them going in the same direction. But that would be my suggestions.
Why do you think, Dennis, that international exposure is so crucial to the growth of this game?
Well, first of all, I think international exposure is awesome because our game is so great. I mean, this is the greatest game on the planet. And, we want to share it with as many people as we can. There's a lot of people in that part of the world who really have never been exposed to it. So, I mean, why not? I mean, why not get it over there and like I said earlier, show them a good product and let them fall in love with the game like so many people have all over the world.
What kind of impact do you see our organization making on a global scale in relation to baseball?
Man, I think we're going to make an impact, especially in that part of the world. And, I know those guys, Cash and them, have a vision that's probably much bigger than my vision, with doing stuff in Asia and all that stuff. So I think I think we've already made an impact over there. I mean, a small one because we've only been there for 2 weeks. But when we're over there for, 2 months and, doing coaching clinics and player clinics and building from the grassroots up, I think the sky's the limit.
What are some things that need to go right, Dennis, in your opinion, for our organization to continue to build up to our eventual full season and have a successful full season with however many franchises we have at the time?
Yeah, I just think, we're going to have fields, obviously. Good players, like we talked about earlier. I know we're going to be organized. And I think once we get over there and start, it's going to be up to us as players and coaches to help spread and get in the community and build that way. It's going to be community based at first, and then hopefully it becomes regional based. And the fan base goes from local to country to that way is the way I see it.
Mm-hmm. We recently signed a deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to bring baseball there. Dennis, what do you think are the implications of a deal like that?
If I read it correctly, it's supposed to be like 3 different franchises. Is that right?
I believe so. Yep.
Well, man, that's gigantic. I mean, from a outsider looking in, that sounds gigantic to me. That's 3 franchises there, plus Abu Dhabi, plus Dubai, plus Mumbai, plus Karachi. I mean, that's a pretty good league right there. So and that shows interest, regional interest, which is gigantic. And the Saudis are doing everything sports wise. They're broadcasting everything and welcoming in people to do the UFC fights and stuff like that, and horse racing and golf and all that. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for them.
Dennis, so 15 years in the MLB. If I've said it once on this show, I've said it a million times by now. But what would you say were some of the keys to your longevity?
You know what? the thing I always prided myself on was being a great teammate and being a guy that the manager could rely on. Now, was I going to be good every time I was out there? No, not even close. But I tried to make myself available as much as possible to give the manager options. I competed hard. I was probably a more of a competitor than I was talented. I like to win, um, and I would say I never feeling comfortable. I mean, I never felt like I was owed or due anything. I remember going to spring training in '98. I was on a multi-year deal, and my wife was having the babies, and I was late to spring training, and I wanted to show up to spring training in the best shape possible, even though I already knew I made the team because I was on a multi-year deal. But I never ever felt that comfortable where I could just put it in cruise control. I always had to frickin' push and grind, and I think that was my best attributes as a player.
What are your thoughts on the current state of pitching in MLB today, Dennis?
Man, it's hard to watch. For me, it's hard to watch. There's just a lot of guys out there heaving. Not everybody's that way, but you get the guys out there just 100% max effort. Starters go 3 or 4 innings. There's no finish what you start as a starter. That mentality, even in the minor leagues, they don't teach it. They're throwing once every 7 days. They get on the mound one bullpen and one mound day. So basically, 2 days on the mound in a week. And I just don't understand how you develop pitchers that way. I mean, you have to get on the bump and you have to throw. But just the max effort stuff, not really pitching, just heaving is something I really don't care to watch too much of.
What was the preparation like? For example, what did your preparation as a player look like?
Well, first and foremost, I like to know who were playing and who the umpires were, because the umpires had different zones. I wanted
Yep.
to know who was going to be behind the plate and what I could get away with as far as in or out off the plate. Preparation was always exactly the same. I'm big in routines, and my routine would even go back all the way to lunchtime. I would eat the same thing for lunch every day when I was home. So, I didn't deviate from anything. My catch play, my running, my warm up, the time I would start stretching, number of cups of coffee. I mean, everything was a routine. So there was no thinking involved.
In terms of actually throwing off a mound, you mentioned pitchers today, they're on a mound maybe twice a week. What did that look like when you played?
I would throw flat ground. I would throw short boxes. Just about every day I'd get on the mound. And if I didn't pitch for 2 or 3 days, towards the end of a game, I would get up and throw a short bullpen. I like being on the mound, and I mean that's your office. So you gotta go to the office to get the work done, right?
Yep. So you played with Levon Hernandez. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So I was looking up stuff yesterday just on you, and then I came across him. So I went down a rabbit hole. This guy pitched over 30 games a year for 13 consecutive years. That's never going to be done again.
Yeah, he was a workhorse. He was a workhorse. But stop and think about where he came from. He came from Cuba,
Yep.
and there was nothing given to him. He came over here, and it was almost like there was not a plan B. And there's a plan A, but no plan B. So his brother just got out there and got after it and competed. And I'm sure there were times where he didn't want to pitch. He might have maybe a little sore or back stiff or something, but he felt obligated to pitch, and I respect that.
Do you think that's lacking from today's game, Dennis? That kind of that dog mentality to get
Oh,
back on the mound?
100%, 100%. I mean, back, yeah. I mean, I don't like saying back in the day, but there was so many guys like a Kevin Brown. You go try to take the baseball from him in the fourth inning. Or Al Leiter, go tell him he's got 93 pitches and a no-hitter after 7, and you're going to take him out of the game. You're going to have to fist fight him to get him out of the game. And Alex Fernandez, those guys, Wilson Alvarez, that just didn't play. Jack McDowell, those guys were dogs. And, I don't see that too much in the game today. I see a starter going 4 innings and taking a siesta, and that's not for me.
Why do you think that is? Where do you think that mentality from your era was derived from, and where do you think it kind of got lost in this era?
I think it got lost the day we let the people, non-baseball people, start making baseball decisions. I think that's when it got lost. I think that even throughout the minor leagues, you got guys that aren't baseball people, and you can't tell me that you're going to give a kid $8 million as your number one pitching prospect. You sign him, and then you put him on the mound, and I'm not going to say the name, but he throws 4 1/3 innings on average and starts in the minor leagues. And you're going to tell me you're developing that kid to be a number one? You paid him like a number one in the draft, but he's throwing 4 1/3 innings in the minor leagues. And my solution to that is back in the day, this is what they would have said. They would have said, hey, you got 105 pitches. Go see how deep in the game you can get. See if you can finish the game in 105 pitches. But they don't do that now. I mean, they got starters. I'm not starters, openers. I don't even know what that means. Why in the world do we throw a guy for one frickin' inning? That doesn't make sense to me. Your starters are your best guys. They're your 5 best guys. Put them in the game and let them go pitch. Stretch them out. That way your bullpen didn't get blown out. Jim Leland was the best. He ran the bullpen the best of anybody. The year I played with him in '97. Everybody in August and September was fresh as a daisy. Now I played for managers that would burn their bullpens out early in the year, and we had nothing left at the end of the season. But it all starts with the starting pitchers pitching deep in the game, and they don't do that anymore. That's why there's so much turnover. You see the transactions. There's guys going up and down, pitchers. It seems like every other day the bullpen turns over. So, I think that happened with the non-baseball people making decisions.
Sounds like there's, especially as it relates to pitching, it's almost information overload, Dennis. Every other day, there's a new stat coming out. There's a new metric coming out, whether it's arm angle, velocity, and whatever you have. But it just seems like it can't be that complex. Like, look at the success someone like yourself had. You didn't have any of that back then. You pitched 15 years in the big leagues. We rarely even see 15-year careers now, especially out of pitchers.
Well, I had my eyeballs. I would watch hitters. I would see what they were doing, their reaction. I had the kids up in the Cape, and this is the data era when I had them, and we had TrackMan up there, and all the kids want to know, how hard am I throwing, how hard am I spinning it. I took all that out of there because they've lost the fact, especially the college kids. They've lost the fact of what are we doing here. The main objective is to get outs, right? And step on home plate more times than the other team in 9 innings, right? But all they worry about is velocity and spin rate. That we got to get rid of that. There's a place for it. There's 100% a place for it. But the kids got to understand they're competing against the hitter, not Rapsodo. They'll throw a pitch in the bullpen and they'll turn around and look and see all the data. Screw that. Throw a pitch. If it's a good slider, my eyes will tell me, hey, that's a daggum good slider. That's a real good slider. I don't need I'm not anybody special, but I don't need Rapsodo to tell me if it's a good slider or not. And a lot of times, same thing with the hitter up there. I don't need to see the metrics on it. The hitters are going to tell you if it's a good pitch or not. The way they swing and the way they take their approach at it. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
You mentioned playing for and winning a World Series with Jim Leland and the Florida Marlins in 1997, Dennis. What was it like playing for Jim? And also, you mentioned, actually, I'll give you the floor for that one first, and then I have follow-up.
He is the very best manager I ever played for, simply because he made everybody feel from 1 to 25 on the roster like they were the most important player on the team. He ran his bullpen well. He ran a tight ship. When somebody needed to get their butt chewed, he chewed their butt. He looked out for all of us. And he just was a fantastic man. So, by far, the best manager I ever played for.
You mentioned earlier that he managed the bullpen better than anyone you've ever seen. What did that management look like? Like you said, everyone was fresh in August and September. Did that mean he was kind of doing a load management approach in the beginning half of the season?
Yeah, 100%. He let his starters go. Because he knew they were the best guys on the team. We had Robbie Nin was our closer. Jay Powell was a setup guy, and I was a setup guy. And Felix Heredia, the other lefty out of the pen. We had some good arms down there, and he would use Robbie Nin 2 nights in a row early to close a game, and then the next night he'd tell Jay Powell to close, or I would close. He'd give Robbie Nin the day off. Where some managers, where if it's a closing situation, even early in the year, they'll throw 4 days in a row, and that tends to take a toll towards the back end. Early in the season, that's fine and dandy, but on the back end, I want that guy closing 4 games on the back end of the season, not the front end. And you got other capable arms down there to close a game. So that's what he did. He was really good at, and he'd tell you, if you threw 2 days in a row, 2 or 3 days in a row, and you'd come in and he'd say, don't even put your spikes on tomorrow. Just wear your tennis shoes because you're not pitching. And I remember one time I told him, I said, man, I said, I'm good. I can pitch tomorrow. I feel great. And he jumped on me and cussed me out, told me he was the manager. I wasn't the manager, and just basically put your tennis shoes on and go sit down. And I was like, got it.
Got it, Skip. Dennis, what would you say is your fondest memory of Jim Leland?
When we were in the World Series or the playoffs, he would stand up, or actually the World Series, from game one, he would stand up before the games in the clubhouse, and he would talk to us and give like a little bit of a motivational speech, but just more talking, and he cried every night. Every night he gave the speech, he'd get about halfway through and he'd start crying because he cared that much about us and it meant that much to him to be there. I mean, that's the first time. I don't think he ever won another one. I don't know that, but I know that was the first one. And I mean, it was just, you could tell it meant so much to him, and it meant a lot to us too. I mean, obviously it's a long grind, and to get there, and hey, if you're there, you want to win it.
When you reflect on that team, Dennis, what sticks out to you of why you guys were so successful?
Man, Gary Sheffield, Bobby Bonilla, Edgar Renteria, Craig Counsell, Charles Johnson, Al Leiter, Levon Hernandez, Robbie Nin, Jay Powell, just good people that showed up and got after it. Jeff Conine, just guys that loved baseball, and we loved each other. We were close, and the cars just fell in line for us, and we had great leadership.
As we start to wrap up here, Dennis, who, I know you said you don't really watch a lot of MLB these days, right?
No, I don't watch too much of it.
No, okay. I was going to ask who some of your favorite pitchers are, but I'll save that.
Yeah, man, I don't even know. You know who I like? I like the guy from the Cubs, Hendricks. Is that it? The changeup guy?
Kyle Hendricks?
Yeah, I like watching him pitch because he pitches. He's not a heaver. He pitches. He pitches to the corners. I really like him. Brett Beatty, I had him at high school here. He played high school with my boys. And Jared Triol.
Really?
Yeah, Jared Triola was also on the team here, the kid that second baseman with the Pirates. He's more of a utility guy, but he's in the big league with the Pirates now. So nice. Those guys are the guys that I follow, the kids that I had here. And, the Texas Longhorn kids, I follow them too. But more stats than watching them play.
Dennis, as an old school baseball guy in this new age of baseball, how do you, especially with your approach to managing, how do you balance old school mentality and the information and analytics you're given on any given day for a game?
I think right now, as far as Baseball United goes, we hadn't played enough games to be able to get into that. But I would think that as a manager, I was with Northwestern last year, Northwestern University as a pitching coach. And the analytics stuff is real. And there is some helpful information there. But I think at the end of the day, when I was doing scouting reports, I like watching video of the hitters. And I did it the old school way. I watched videos. I looked at their front hips flying open. How are they reacting to a fastball inside? What do they look like after fastball inside to breaking ball down and away? How are they handling the changeup? What do they hit? Are they first pitch hitters? So that's more my analytics. Those kind of things I want to know as a pitching coach. Who's swinging first pitch? Who's the power guy? Who's running? Those kind of things that we did back in the day.
Dennis, final question for you. What message do you have for the fans of Baseball United and international baseball?
Just buckle up because it's going to be a lot of fun. Once we get over there and get established, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, the right leadership is in place. We got good players, and we're going to bring an exciting brand of baseball over there, and you guys are going to enjoy the heck out of it.
Dennis, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, hearing about your career, hearing your perspective, everything. Thank you so much for joining the show, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get to speak, my friend.
Hey, Liam, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the job that you've been doing. It's been awesome. I've been watching all your podcasts.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Liam, thank you.